How's it going, everyone? This is Yxlarb, and welcome back to my Sonic Adventure 2 HD series. In the last episode, several months ago, we completed the campaign mode, including the hidden last story, in which we defeated the Bio Lizard, transported via Chaos Control the Eclipse Cannon back to its spot in orbit, and saved mankind as we know it. In this episode, we are beginning a long road of bonus videos, and of course we're going to start out with the longest of all bonus projects, and that is the Chow feature. We are going to be spending numerous episodes. I can't even predict how long it's going to take me, both off screen and on screen, to complete the Chow portion of the bonus series, but generally speaking, expect there to be more bonus content than there was main story content. That's not even a joke. Alright, but we're going to go ahead and dive into City Escape real fast, because there's something we have to address while there. And while I'm waiting to address that thing, I'm going to go ahead and get into a few more notes about the Chow series specifically. So the first question we need to answer is how to access the Chow feature. Well, you have to do that from an action stage, hence why we're in City Escape right now. It's just a good level to get familiarized with how to access the Chao Garden. And we'll discuss that more here in a second, but before that, I want to discuss a few things. First of all, as you all might know, way back in my Sonic Adventure DX walkthrough, the prequel to this game, I showed off the Chow feature, but very minimally. That feature in that game is very similar to the one in this game, though this one I believe is superior. The features overall are superior to the first game. That's just my opinion. You can have a different opinion if you want to, no problem. But they are quite similar, and that's probably the biggest reason why I decided. Oh, come on, camera, cooperate with me. I accidentally went the wrong way, so it was actually me who caused the problem. But you know, so I thought it would be repetitive and just unnecessarily time-consuming. So I decided to wait until I was doing this game to go over that feature. And before we move on, I'm actually going to stop here and say a few more things. So, I'm going to be going into a lot of detail, but not into like wiki levels of detail. You know, this series would go on forever at that point, and I would be, you know, discussing things that are quite technical and things I can barely understand or comprehend at a personal level. So how on earth would I convey the really complicated stuff to you guys when I don't get it, right? So, this is going to be more than just a basic tutorial. I'm going to be going over more than just the basics. I'm going to be going into pretty heavy detail, just not the heaviest it could be. So what I suggest doing, if you really need to know something more complicated or something that I happen to not address, and I don't end up addressing, is using a wiki. The one I suggest, and the one which I'll always link to my, which I'll link in my description in each one of these Chow bonus videos, is Chow Island, or chow-island.com, or chow-island.com. I've used them for many, many years. They've always been my go-to resource. In fact, I'm going to be using them to fact-check a lot of the stuff I share with you during this series. So you know you're going to be getting quite reliable information. They are just the go-to in my eyes. The other thing I want to say is there's just a lot to say about Chow. It's going to be kind of difficult to keep things segregated to topic by topic because a lot of things are time-based. Some things will just, you know, happen when they happen, and there's no controlling that. And other things you just have to wait for, and some things you have to work toward, and they'll take a really long time. So just keep that in mind. I'll explain more as we kind of go. But you're going to see it's not going to be like, oh, in this episode we discussed this topic, and in this episode we discussed this topic. It's all going to be kind of intermingled. I'm going to try to keep it as structured as possible, like I tend to, but just, yeah, keep that in mind. Anyway, you've seen these containers around almost certainly when I was playing through the campaign. It's called a Chow container. If you break it open, you'll find a Chow key inside. Now there are 3 Chow containers per stage, per most, you know, action stages, or the, you know, the running / racing, the treasure hunting, and the mech shooting stages. You'll find 3 of those in each. Only the first one that you open, regardless of which one it actually is, will contain the Chow key. The next 2 will contain animals. So if you open this one up, you can see there are 4 animals inside. We'll discuss animals more later on. But again, it doesn't matter which one you open first. So just because we found the first one in the stage and opened it, doesn't mean it's the only one that can contain the Chow key. If we miss that one, and then we find the second one, that one will then contain the Chow key. It's very simple. The third one is just up over here, and I kind of want to show you it as well. And then we'll discuss, you know, everything else a little bit more. But this is how you access the Chao Garden. Once you complete the stage, you'll be sent directly to Chao World, or the Chao World, however you want to say it. Oops. Gotta get used to the controls again. I've been playing a lot of Nintendo Switch, particularly Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it just feels way different to be playing the Switch versus the Xbox One, honestly. But, yeah, the camera is way more cooperative in Zelda too. That's for damn sure. But after you access the Chao Garden for the first time via the Chao key, you'll be able to access the Chao Garden anytime just from the stage select screen. So that's really nice. Of course, you'll probably continue using the Chao key feature to access the Chao Garden just because it's convenient. You'll be playing through the stages. You'll be collecting animals and chaos drives, all of which we're going to get into here, you know, relatively soon. And you know, then you'll want to go straight to the Chao Garden, and that's what you'll want to do. So it'll make sense. So really, both ways work. It's just nice to open it up the first time and then have the option to go there directly from the stage select screen.
Too easy. Piece of cake.
Aha! We haven't been here before, so I've got to create new save data, which is good. I wanted to save, you know, this fresh look for you all. I didn't want it to be molested in any way. But as you can see, we're here. We're in the Chao lobby. You can run around this galaxy-looking area. There's really nothing much to the lobby. You've got this transporter in the middle, which you can use to exit from the Chao Garden. Or you can just go to the main menu and click, you know, exit game, and then yes. And then you can get out of here completely. I don't want to do that. Of course, initially, all we have access to is one door, so let's go inside. And here it is, the Chao Garden. It's beautiful. Frankly, it's beautiful. I love the Chao Garden. I have spent countless, hundreds of hours in this place. It's almost like a second home to me, really. Now, in case it isn't clear, this is the home of the Chao. Up to 8 Chao can reside in the Chao Garden at one time. Right now, you can see there are no Chao. We've got, you know, a few animals running around, and then we've got eggs. We've got 1 and 2 eggs. Chao, of course, start out their life cycle as eggs. There are a few other things to note about the Chao Garden. First of all, you got these trees, which grow some generic fruit. It's just basically called fruit, or Chao Garden fruit, whatever it may be. It's nice and grassy. We got, you know, a little pond here at the base of a waterfall with a cave in it, and that, actually, I'll just show you, instead of being sneaky, shows you the Chao Stadium, which allows you to access Chao Race or Chao Karate. We're not going to access either of those features for right now, just want to point it out that it's there. And then finally, we have this thing. It's called the Chao Departure Machine in this version. In the Sonic Adventure 2 version, it was called like the Chao Transporter or something like that. With Chao Departure, all you can do is throw your Chao into it and then get rid of it forever. I can't remember exactly what the story is that they give you, but it's like, oh, the Chao will be sent off to some far off land, but it doesn't die. You're not killing your Chao by sending it in here, not, you know, per what the game tells you, but of course, in reality, you are kind of killing your Chao because it's not going to exist anymore and you can't get it back. So that's pretty much just a way of getting rid of your Chao without waiting for it to pass away or whatever. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hatch one of the eggs. How did you end up over here? Oh, the animals must have pushed you along. I was like, I didn't even know they could do that. But okay. Yeah, we'll get into you guys a little bit later. I have to decide which Chao to get. When you first access the Chao Garden, as we see, we start off with 2 Chao eggs. And that's good, because at the end of this series, Bosniancheese and myself are going to have a head-to-head competition between our 2 Chao. I'm going to be raising 2 different Chao, one for myself and one for Bosniancheese. So I have to decide which egg is going to be mine. I have a good feeling about the one over here by the waterfall. This one's going to be mine. Now, there's a couple of ways to hatch Chao eggs. You can either do it the gentle way by just, you know, shaking it very lightly and, you know, for a few seconds, or you can throw it against the wall or something like that. I don't suggest doing the latter, and I actually can't bring myself to do it. I am such an animal activist these days. I can't even harm fake animals that aren't trying to harm me. It's even, you know, virtual ones. That's just my nature, so sorry about that, but here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and hatch this one. So hold the B button when you pick them up, and then just move the control stick left to right. Just smother yourself in that egg. That's what you do. That's what you do. And then just set it down. Oh, here it comes. Get out of here, raccoon. Don't steal the show. And there it is. A Chow. Let's see what kind of face you have. Nope, I don't want to pick that up. Oh my god, it's so cute. This is perfect. This is the exact kind of face I prefer on a Chow. Just kind of the blank face. They can have multiple different faces. They can, you know, have a full-on smile. They can have a little smirk. They can have a little angry-looking face. But bottom line, there's a lot of faces they can have. Oh, hey, who hatched you? How on earth did you hatch? How did that happen? I forgot to mention the third way Chow can hatch. They can hatch just by virtue of time passage. Now, I didn't think it would hatch this quickly. Usually, I don't wait to hatch Chow. Usually, I just walk into the Chao Garden, hatch both eggs, and go on with my life. But here, I guess waiting a couple of minutes, or 3 minutes at most, these particular ones are going to hatch. But this gives you a good idea. See, he's got a much different face. He's got, you know, full-on sharp teeth, so he looks kind of menacing. And he's got, you know, lowered eyelids, and they're slanted, make him look a little angry. But I'm sure he's happy. You know, he's just got resting bitch face syndrome. That's what he's got. Anyway, upon the eggs hatching, the bottom portion of the egg here, you can't interact with it anymore. Once you leave the garden and come back, that will disappear. The top half will remain, and we'll discuss its purpose or utility a little bit later. Well, at the very least, it looks like I went the right path by picking this egg. I prefer the blank face, like I told you guys. I don't have a problem with Bosniancheese's face at all. I think the menacing face is super cool. I just think the blank face is cuter, that's all. Look how cute he is with those wide eyes. Wow, it's unbelievable. But anyway, all Chow that hatch from these standard eggs, these normal spotted eggs, will look like this when they're born. They're all going to have the same shape, you know, different facial expression. They're going to have, you know, small pink wings, pretty much like a cyan, light blue color with some yellowish, greenish ends to their limbs and their rump and the top of their head. They also have these little dots. I actually can't remember what you call them. But they change. As you might have seen before, I'm going to pet this one to see if I can get it to appear. Aw, he likes it. Actually, this is going to be a she. She's going to be a she. Chow are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're gender neutral. They're or genderless. That might be an even better term. They are not male or female. They can all mate with one another. That's just the way they are. But let's see. Can I pick? Oh, see? It turned into a heart. It can also turn into a question mark or an exclamation point. It's all very cute. But we'll get more into Chow features a little bit later on. For right now, we're going to go ahead and discuss the stats. So each Chow has a series of stats which can be improved upon. Most of them can be witnessed immediately by picking them up. As you can see, we put our Chow down, then we go, I don't want to pet you. I do like petting you, but I want to pick you up. When you pick them up, they have 5 stats immediately apparent. Swim, fly, run, power, and stamina. And these are the 5 main stats you're going to be dealing with most of the time. There are some hidden stats, but we'll discuss those a little bit later. So these, before we get into what they actually do, let's just discuss how to kind of measure them. There's a few ways to measure your stats. Of course, there's the level number itself. As you can see, all of the stats are at level 0. The level can go up to a max of 99. Ultimately, though, that number isn't terribly important. It pretty much just shows you your Chow's max potential in its current lifetime, I should say. And by the way, a lot of this stuff is going to make a lot more sense as we sort of dive into it. I just want to give you a quick overview. Then, the other thing that's shown off here are those numbers to the right of each attribute's name. So immediately to the right of swim, you can see there's 4 zeros. This is really the important number. The higher it is, the more proficient your Chow actually is at doing what it is. So you can have two Chow that are both level 99 in swimming, say. One could have, 2,000 points. The other one could have 1,500 points. Though they're the same level, the one that has 2,000 points is going to be better at swimming than the other one. So that's why the level is ultimately unimportant. It just determines your ultimate max. Each time you level up, your stat, the number to the right of the stats title, will go up by a predetermined number of points. Then the bar that's immediately beneath that number, the long one, the one that doesn't have any lines throughout it, the just long bar, that one will slowly go up. It will increase from left to right via a yellow bar. And then if it goes beyond the entire bar, it'll loop back around as an orange bar and slowly make its way. And then again as a red bar. Make sense? Hopefully, because this can all get very technical and overcomplicated. The last thing that can be told from this screen is the secondary bar that's beneath the main top bar. That is your experience. So right now, if I go ahead and I pick up a fruit and I just give it to my Chow, the Chow will start eating. See, she's really hungry. She's dying. She's just, look, she can't even hold herself back. Each piece of fruit, each major bite, as they call it. Okay, you must not be that hungry if you don't want to finish it, but I'm going to make you finish it. I'm sorry. Because you're clearly very hungry. Look at you. It'll make its stamina go up by 1 experience point. An entire piece of fruit will add 4 experience points overall. Once the Chow hits 10 experience points, similar to Pokemon, it will gain a level, and then the experience bar will be reset back down to 0. It's very simple. It couldn't be more straightforward. Now to discuss kind of what the stats do more meaningfully. So as you can see, the Chow, they're both crawling. Well, now only Bosniancheese is crawling. The more you increase the run stat, eventually they'll be able to walk, and then actually run, and then ultimately sprint. As you can see, the Chow also can't swim very well, and it's very sad. But if you increase their swimming level, eventually they'll be able to, just paddle along a little bit, and eventually they'll be able to professionally swim, Michael Phelps style. And if you increase their fly level, you'll see them flying around the garden. It's very cool, because as you improve upon their stats, not only does that, assist them in races and karate later on, which is the main reason to raise a Chow to, the top levels, it also changes how they interact with, people, I guess, the characters or other Chow in the Chao Garden. Very cool. Now I should say there's a few hidden stats. One is happiness, and happiness is important, but we'll discuss it later on. Pretty much to increase happiness, you love the Chow, you feed the Chow, you give it animals and chaos drives, which we'll address more here soon. To bring its happiness down, you hurt the Chow, you throw it into the wall. It's all very sad. I don't do that. That's not my approach. Then you have luck. Now, luck, along with the final hidden stat, intelligence, neither of those are really that important outside of, races and karate. So we'll discuss those more in detail later on. But just know that they exist, and they're a hidden value. You can't actually see their numerical value. Happiness can go from, I believe, negative... It's negative 100 to positive 100, or it's negative 150 to positive 150. It's one or the other. I think it's negative 100 to positive 100. But it really doesn't matter. As long as you just care for your Chow and you don't hurt it, it's going to be a max happiness before you know it, and you're not even going to have to worry about it. The other hidden stats, luck and intelligence, can go to a max value of 3,266. But then the non-hidden values, I guess, swim through stamina here, those can go to a max of 4,000. So a much nicer, rounder number. I prefer that, honestly. Now we're going to go into the ways you can actually interact with Chow. So the obvious one is, of course, you can pick them up and walk around with them. Be careful, if you're running and you press the B button, you'll throw them. Same thing with if you jump. If you jump, you'll throw them. Press B to put them back down. Hold B near them to pet them. If you want to pick them up, you have to be a little bit further away from them. So this will give you a sense of how far away you actually have to be. Oh, that was close. See, on the Nintendo Switch, the A and B buttons are swapped. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, you can cycle through with the Y button to see all your menu options. The last one we have is whistling. As you can see, nothing happens, but that's a good way to test your Chow's happiness. If you get to the point where your Chow's really happy with you, you can whistle and they'll actually follow you. They'll follow you as long as you walk, and when they reach you, they'll be very pleased. So that's a good way to test that. But of course, right now, we can't. Now, I've already shown you how to hatch. I've already shown you how to feed Chow. The next thing you can do is give them a hat, which is one of the two purposes of these eggshells. If you give them to a Chow, see, question mark, they'll look at it and they'll either put it over their head like a hat, or they'll toss it because they're not interested. Be wary. If you put this on their head, I don't think I've ever seen a Chow remove one consciously. They've been like, oh, you know what? I'm over this. Let me take it off. Which means you'll probably have to hit your Chow or hurt your Chow to remove it, which is why I don't put hats on them, because, I mean, unless I'm really committed to that hat, which I'm not. Almost certainly not. So just keep that in mind. It's really nice that we can tell the difference between Bosniancheeses and my own Chow, based on their facial expressions being so different, but they will change even more so than this, and that's going to be a huge topic we discuss in a future video. But for right now, that's kind of where we're going to wrap it up. Just to address one more thing about the hats, there are a number of hats you can get. Of course, there's going to be different kinds of eggshells you can get. There are pumpkins, there are skulls, aka like Chow skulls, they kind of mimic human skulls, and there's a number you can purchase as well. And we're going to get into these topics among others just as we progress, because like I said, it's kind of impossible to plan. I mean, like here even, this was probably the most controlled episode of all of these bonus episodes that are going to be coming forth, and even this I couldn't fully control. Bosniancheese's Chow just hatched on its own and totally ruined where I was planning on going, though it was a relatively minor thing. But anyway, thank you guys for joining with me today. I love the Chow features so very much, especially in this game, in Sonic Adventure 2. We found out in this episode how to get to the Chao Garden, to the Chao World in general. We talked about Chow containers. We showed off how to hatch and interact with Chow, and we showed off kind of how their stats work a little bit. And in the next episode, we're going to dive into a lot more detail. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.